For more on this story, we can go across to our chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons. Rob, just how significant is this visit?
Well, you mentioned there the fact that the Israelis are opening an embassy and a consulate. That in itself is significant. It's a confirmation of the new relationship between the UAE and Israel. And it's significant, certainly. As far as the Israelis is concerned, it's confirmation that the Abraham Accords are bedding down. The supplies, obviously, not just to the UAE, but to Bahrain, to Morocco and Sudan as well. And the hope will be, on the Israeli side at least, that this is just the beginning, that there will be others, particularly in the Gulf, Oman, for instance, which may want to join in the Accords, and further down the line, that this will spread to Saudi Arabia. That would be the icing on the cake for the Israelis if the Saudis were to agree to join that and normalise their relations with Israel. That's some time off yet, though, although relations are quite warm between Israel and Saudi Arabia. But more particularly, as far as the United Arab Emirates are concerned, both sides are looking, apart from the political, to commercial gains as well. A significant amount of trade did take place off the record before the Accords were signed, before normalisation, but the opportunities now for massive development in the years ahead are there, and that's, I think, what both sides are going to be focusing on.
You know, Rob, this visit, I know we have a new administration at the helm over in Israel, where Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is out of office. We have Naftali Bennett at the head. But this visit also comes a few weeks after that conflict we saw over in Gaza.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the reasons why this visit by Lapid is so interesting, I think, because it demonstrates quite clearly the importance that the UAE attaches to its relationship, its new relationship with Israel. There was this feeling, you know, when Gaza exploded, when so many people died, others made homeless in the destruction that followed, that this was such an embarrassment, would be such an embarrassment for the United Arab Emirates, that they might even be tempted to pull out of the normalisation agreement with Israel. That hasn't happened, however. There was criticism, it's true, from the UAE. A couple of airlines, UAE airlines, stopped flying for a while to Israel. Some economic agreements are put on hold, but that really is about as far as it went. There was enormous criticism from, in particular, the Palestinians, obviously. They called the recognition in the first place of normalisation of relations between the UAE and Israel as a betrayal. But ultimately, when it's come to deciding what its relationship is going to be with Israel, it's clear that the UAE has come down very firmly on the side of maintaining and developing its relations with Israel.
Rob, thank you very much for that. Rob Parsons there.